several NBA executives their thoughts about Carmelo Anthony's chances to win a championship alone, and one said, quote, "He's probably Robin on a championship team instead of Batman. He has Batman talent, but the intangibles are missing." A familiar knock against Carmelo Anthony. Stephen A., what do you make of this?
Well, obviously, when you look at Carmelo Anthony, he's widely recognized as one of the greatest scorers in the game, one of the most prolific scorers we've ever seen. He's a scoring machine, as he put on display last night against the Houston Rockets, particularly with his 26-point first half on 11 of 15 shooting. But some of the other intangibles don't stand out. Can he defend you 94 feet? Not really. Can he make a difference on the defensive end of the floor where he's so suffocating he derails and offsets what you want to do offensively? Not really. Is he the kind of guy with the requisite passing and playmaking skills and abilities that really, really maximizes the potential around him? No. He's capable of doing those things from time to time in increments, in moments, but that's not his strength. His strength is a scorer. So the Batman-Robin analogy is accurate because obviously he is a Robin from the perspective he's the guy that will assist you in closing the deal. And by the way, he's a better version of Robin because he's capable of closing the deal himself. The problem is that his style of play doesn't lend itself towards making you believe that he can deliver a championship by being that guy. It takes another superstar to do it. But out of respect to Carmelo, let's understand something here. Whoever's going to be Batman to his Robin had better be a superstar because from an offensive standpoint, he is big time. He's a star. But in the end, he just doesn't have the horses. Skip, we can sit there and say what we want to. Everybody can point out the flaws in this game or whatever the case may be. When Carmelo Anthony is playing with players, he shows that he belongs on the same court as them because he's a star. And he's not nearly as selfish as people try to claim he is. Just ask the Kevin Durant's, LeBron James, and others of the world. The difference is that he doesn't have the requisite help. He doesn't have dudes that he can lean on and say, take me to some place I can't take you to. Because he does not have that available to him, which is why this could very well end up being the last year in New York for him if the Knicks are not careful, because I don't care how much money they can offer him. Carmelo Anthony is not going to be inclined to stay with these Knicks if he can't see a market improvement somewhere in the immediate future in this roster. It is that simple.
I hear what you said, like what you just said. I'm going to say, if Carmelo Anthony is Robin, he just might be the greatest Robin in the history of the NBA. That's right. That's how much respect I have for his scoring talent. It's off the charts. He led the NBA last year in points per game at 28.7 because he can flat out score the basketball. And you pointed out, Stephen A., this is a big-time clutch shooter. I want the ball in Melo's hands at the end of my game. I'm fine with that. But I hate to admit it because I think it was hard for you to sort of come to grips and acknowledge it publicly. There's a lot of truth to what Chris Broussard quoted some anonymous GMs about Melo.
Yes. Absolutely.
He does not make those around him better. He plays in his own world, and it's a great world. But for his career, he's averaged about 3 assists per game, about, I think it's 6.4 rebounds, although this year he's averaging a career high 8.5 through the few games that we played so far. But you know what gets me about this, Stephen A.? Where I really first sort of fell in basketball love with Melo, as a freshman, he strapped Syracuse on his back and took him to the title land, you know, to the promised land. They won the NCAA championship, Syracuse. And usually that predicts NBA leadership greatness, you know, where you are the Batman, that you will take an NBA team to the promised land. And I thought he would. And now he's played 10 years, and as you well know, we bring it up all too often, because we have to. He's won a total of 3 playoff series in 10 NBA seasons. That's not very good.
Well,
LeBron has, by the way, 19 series wins in his 10 years. Well,
Skip, this is why you call Carmelo a star, but you got to stop short of the superstar status because he got drafted the same year as LeBron James. LeBron James has 2 rings. He has 4 trips to the NBA Finals. He has several trips, obviously, to the Eastern Conference Finals. Carmelo Anthony has been in the Western Conference Finals once after they had acquired Chauncey Billups in Denver in the Allen Iverson trade. And other than that, last year he won a playoff series over Boston. The other 8 times in his career, he's been bounced out in the first round. I love Carmelo Anthony. Happy to have him in New York. Desperately needed him. No doubt about it. But he needs help. There's no question. And when you look at the New York Knicks right now, it's just an absolute mess. And you can't completely put it on Carmelo Anthony's shoulders. The fact is you've got Mikhail Prokhorov in Brooklyn antagonizing Dolan, the owner for the Knicks. He got rattled, put that pressure on the organization. They can slice it any way they want to, but you see some of the antics. You've heard about some of the things. Dolan is not happy, put pressure on everybody else, and then you've got other folks looking at Mike Woodson like it's his problem and not taking a look at this roster. It is flat out not good enough. The New York Knicks, I hate to say this because I love this man, they need to convince Amari Stoudemire to retire.